The Drive. The best show in...
Jeff Pearlman, he's written a new book, Football for a Buck, The Crazy Rise and Crazier Demise of the USFL. It'll be out next week. Jeff, how you doing?
I just want to say that my wife considers the B-52s to be the worst thing to be done to the human ear in the history of the human ear.
It's not great. Love Shack, bad. That song's pretty bad. Rome is a good song, though. Can we at least agree on that?
Like Rome.
Yeah, Rome's a decent song.
Rome. I actually like the B-52s, but my wife has it. We'll have none of it.
Fair enough. I can't extend my knowledge on them beyond those three songs. I doubt many people can.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't. We all know that, though.
Jason never can. Fair enough. Jeff Pearlman, our guest, he wrote a book on the USFL. You've talked a lot, at least on Twitter, about how there was not much of a response for this book. It was hard to get published. Not many publishers wanted to attach themselves. And I guess that's weird to me because I wasn't alive during the USFL, and I can't wait to read this book. So why do you think there was such little response on it, and what made it kind of a passion project for you?
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand the USFL or don't even know the USFL, which if you're a publisher, you're thinking, well, those aren't two great, ways to pitch a book. Also, if you look at the books I've written in the past, they've all had sort of big topics that are, like you write a Brett Favre biography or the Green Bay market, the Wisconsin market. You write Walter Payton, you have Chicago. The USFL is a tougher, and also I was pitching it for years before Trump was even involved in politics. So there wasn't even a Trump book. It was just a book about a league. But I just knew the stories were great. I knew the league was great. The whole challenge to the NFL, stealing all I just knew it was a great story. I really did. So I finally when I got my last book deal, which is the Brett Favre book, Gunslinger, I took a little less money to do Favre, so they pay me almost nothing to do Football for a Buck. And I'm very glad I did it.
But do you think it was because now that Trump is in there, it is part of it? And Jeff, I'm just going to ask, I don't know if you had anything to do or if you've seen the 30 for 30 on the USFL on ESPN, because that basically says that Trump was the demise of this. And is that true, or is that just played up a little bit?
All right, so it's interesting. I got this deal before Trump was even a presidential candidate. So it was almost like, whoa, well, this changed the sort of marketing approach, as you work on a book, and all of a sudden that was weird. So the 30 for 30 I've seen about 7 times. And this is not a Republican or Democratic stance. It's not a liberal or conservative stance. Trump ruined the USFL. He really did ruin the USFL. It was a spring football league. It was a great idea. It struggled its first year, but just like any first league, he came into the league. He bought the New Jersey Generals after the 1983 season. So the Generals were owned by a guy from Oklahoma in 83. Trump buys a team. In the lead up to buying it, all he does is talk about his love of the USFL. It's a great league. I love spring football. As soon as he gets the Generals, we need to move to fall. Fall is where football is. This is a joke. We got to be with the big boys. And really his motivation was to get an NFL franchise. He had failed in an effort to get the Baltimore Colts in 1981. He saw the USFL as a gateway to the NFL. In 1984, during his first season as an owner, he held a secret meeting with Pete Rozelle, the NFL commissioner, at a suite at the Pierre Hotel in New York City. Told Rozelle, I am willing to throw this league out. I don't care about the USFL. I want an NFL franchise. What do you need me to do? And Rozelle's sort of words to him were, as long as I or my family are affiliated with the NFL, you will never have a team. So he just didn't trust Trump and didn't see him as a very honorable man. So, the lawsuit that followed, the push to fall, the ultimate demise, I'm not saying it's Trump's fault alone, but he did initiate the downfall of that league. He really did.
Well, and according to the 30 for 30, and I'm just going off this because, I've seen it probably 6 times myself, it seemed like he was actually just running the whole league and nobody would stand up to him. And I can't remember the one guy that passed away before this all came down. Do you remember his name? He was the owner of one of the other teams.
It was John Bassett.
That's it, Bassett.
Does he remember? He wrote a book.
Yeah, I know. But I know. I couldn't remember. I apologize. But, it sounded like Bassett was the only guy that would stick up or stand up to him. And then the other owners would kind of follow Bassett a little bit, but then when he passed away, it was gone.
Oh, I'll take it to the next level for you. So,
love it.
The front of my book, the first page, is a letter that John Bassett wrote to Donald Trump, and it was on Tampa Bay Bandit Stationery. It was in 1984, and one of the paragraphs is, this is John Bassett to Donald Trump. You're bigger, younger, and stronger than I, which means I'll have no regrets whatsoever punching you right in the mouth The next time an instance occurs where you personally scorn me or anyone else who does not happen to salute and dance to your tune. So Bassett, there's an amazing parallel. There are a lot of parallels time-wise between then and now. Much like John McCain, you could certainly make the case John McCain was Donald Trump's sort of public enemy number one, certainly within the Republican Party. And John Bassett was his number one enemy with the USFL. John Bassett, late in 1984, was diagnosed with brain cancer, just as John McCain was. And as soon as that happened, Trump just saw an opening and stomped all over him. And because Bassett was the one guy who was saying, we can't move to fall. We can't listen to this guy. It is a bad idea. And as soon as he got sick and sort of was out of the spotlight and couldn't manage day-to-days, it was Trump's time. And he used that sort of charisma and that magnetism, and he convinced the league that he could get them a fall TV deal, and it would be in the best interest of the USFL to move to fall. And he also convinced them that if they would sue the NFL would want to settle because they'd be so terrified by the lawsuit. They did not settle, and the USFL actually won the lawsuit. It was an antitrust suit, and they won $1.
Wow. Talking with Jeff Pearlman, his new book, Football for a Buck, is released next Tuesday. It's about the USFL. I don't know if you heard the audio today that came out with Bob Woodward on the Washington Post trying to get access to Donald Trump. Did you have to go kind of through similar channels? Did you get access to Trump? I'm sure you try, but I don't know if you even need access to Donald Trump to really know everything there is to know about Donald Trump.
So I tried, and he does not talk about the USFL. He hasn't had said a word publicly about the USFL since Mike's documentary about 10 years ago. So it was Woodward certainly made a more dogged effort than I did because his book was about Trump and mine was about the USFL. I tried and kind of knew early on it just wasn't going to happen.
So going back to the USFL, and it looked like after the first year they were kind of gaining some momentum. It looked like people were having a blast. They were starting, attendance was rising. Why would the owners allow him to move it? I mean, it had to stay in the spring. You can't compete against the NFL.
No. So I think what happened is, so in 1980, the original 12 owners, they all knew this was going to be a money loser at first. Like, you don't invest in a professional sports franchise from scratch and think you're instantly going to, triple your money. And I think they panicked. And heading into the second year, they did something really dumb, which is they expanded by 16. So they expanded from 12 to 18 because they liked the revenue. There was $6 million per team for a franchise fee. So all of a sudden they were going to have this influx of money, but they also ended up having, crappier ownership groups and, less solvent entities. So I think they panicked. And again, Trump came along. He's very charismatic. He, kind of always has the air of success. And he convinced them. His two big things were, number one, I can get us a fall TV deal. I promise you, I guarantee you, it'll be so easy. I'll get us a fall TV deal. Of course, he never did. He also did something that was interesting. I mean, if you listen to he likes to talk about fake news. He created a publicist named John Barron. And it was him disguising his voice. And he would call newspapers as a representative of the New Jersey Generals and talk about Mr. Trump and what Mr. Trump is doing, and he's working on a lot of genius plans and blah, blah, blah. And it would be John Barron. And then he would say, I could put you in touch with Mr. Trump if you want to talk to him. And sure, I'd love to talk to Trump. So then he would call, and he would say, yo, John Barron told me I should call you. And it was all Trump. Right? It was all Trump disguising his voice. It was a single-minded determination, do whatever it takes to get into the fall and get into the NFL. And it was really a suicide mission for a lot of these owners who followed him, because if you were the Houston Gamblers, why would you vote to go to fall and play head-to-head with the Houston Oilers? If you were the Michigan Panthers, why would you go play with the Detroit Lions already? You literally are giving up your stadium. It made no sense whatsoever, but they did it. They went for it.
No, I guess that's why it boggled my mind watching it and seeing how all these other owners just kind of followed suit, because it made no sense. It looked like they kind of had something going. It looked like the teams, they had some big name teams, they had Kelly there who ended up in Buffalo after, and Doug Flutie. And they had a lot of good players, but yet one guy got in there basically, and he was just looking after himself and got rid of everybody else, jobs, everybody. And it just boggled my mind watching it.
Yeah. I kind of feel like people don't even know how good this league was. Like you mentioned Kelly and Flutie. They signed the three straight Heisman Trophy winners out of college: Herschel Walker, Mike Rozier from Nebraska, Doug Flutie. 4 NFL Hall of Famers: Gary Zimmerman, Jim Kelly, Steve Young, Reggie White started in the USFL. I was watching a video recently of the Super Bowl when Washington played Denver, and Doug Williams was the starting quarterback for the Redskins, and he won the MVP. Doug Williams threw 4 touchdown passes in that game. 3 of those went to Kelvin Bryant, Gary Clark, Ricky Sanders. Kelvin Bryant played for the Philadelphia Stars, Ricky Sanders, Houston Gamblers, Gary Clark, Jacksonville Bulls, Doug Williams, Oklahoma Outlaws. Like the run and shoot offense started in the USFL. The 2-point conversion, USFL. Instant replay, USFL. Coach's challenge, USFL. Team in Jacksonville, team in Tennessee. The USFL was and salaries blew up. The salaries that NFL players enjoy now started because the USFL was challenging for NFL players, and all of a sudden the salary scale just went berserk. So there's a footprint all over the NFL for the USFL.
Jeff Pearlman, our guest, his 8th book is Football for a Buck. It's released a week from today. Jeff, do you think there is an alternate reality where the USFL could have at least survived a few more seasons, thrived even for a little bit longer time? And in our current environment, we've got the XFL supposedly returning. The league with Oliver Luck is starting up. Can either of those potentially not compete with the NFL? That's unrealistic, but survive alongside of the NFL.
Yeah, well, I think the USFL could have gone longer if it stayed with the spring plan and slow and steady growth, and didn't get crazy and didn't get greedy and didn't follow the path to the fall. I think it had a shot. I really do. Steve Young said to me the other day, he was like, it's like, you know what? We could have survived in spring. We really could have, and we should have. And there's real, lament for guys like that because they love this league. And I actually think the Alliance, the Oliver Luck League, has a decent shot because they're doing a lot of the smart things the USFL did: spring football, regional rosters, big name coaches, a lot of marketing, but they're not going head to head with the NFL. And I just think if you want a suicide mission, go head to head with the NFL right now. NFL's having a hard enough time surviving in the current climate. I don't think starting a league and going against them is going to work so well.
So one more question before you go. I've read some of the blurbs and reviews. A lot of the reviews describe the book as funny or hilarious. And I'm sure it is, but is it difficult to make nonfiction writing funny? Did you kind of just let the stories speak for themselves and they were inherently funny?
All right, I'll give you 2 real quick that speak for themselves. And basically, I'll give you 3. Number 1, the Chicago Blitz and the Arizona Wranglers were traded for each other because the owner of the Chicago Blitz got tired of flying 3 hours 8 times a year to see his team play in Chicago. So they traded the 2 teams for each other.
Wow.
Number 2, the Houston Gamblers' star receiver was this guy named Richard Johnson. And before every game, as he would drive to the field, he would smoke a joint to get ready for the game. Well, his best friend on the team was this guy, Vince Corville, another receiver who wasn't that good. And he thought, I don't know, it works for him. The guy had never smoked pot before. He smokes a joint right before a game. He plays the entire game in utter paranoia. Why is the ball so big? Why are my hands tingling? What's going on here? And then number 3, the San Antonio Gunslingers once had to put one of their players on the injured list because he accidentally slammed his penis in the trunk. And they actually had to list the injury as groin injury. It wasn't a groin. It was he slammed his penis in the trunk. That is the USFL, my friend.
There you go.
How can't you love it?
Perfectly encapsulated.
How can't you love that?
Yeah, that's amazing, Jeff. And I can't wait to read your book. I think I've read all of your books except the Walter Payton book. So I need to read that one, and I'll definitely be reading this one. I'll be headed to the bookstore next Tuesday. Great to speak with you. We really appreciate your time. Good luck with this book.
No, thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Jeff Pearlman. Man, we could have talked with him for a while.
Oh, yeah, you think? Imagine some of the other stories he's got.
Yeah, I love his books because his writing, it's hard to describe. It's just very original. It's just he's got good voice, as they say, when he writes. He doesn't get repetitive. He's very careful. You can tell just with his word choice and everything like that. So he's one of my favorite authors. Again, I've read almost all of his books. He's written 8.
I mean, like you said, we could have probably talked to him for another 30 minutes easy. Because, I mean, this questions about certain teams and that sort of thing. I mean, Steve Young was the one that I think he ended up with like an annuity that paid him $40 million over the rest of his life from the USFL.
Wow.
It was some astronomical number that they paid Young. It was all through an annuity that he's still getting to this day, from what I understand.
Who?
from what team was he on? I can't remember the team that he was. Who was it?
Steve Young?
Yeah, Steve Young.
LA Express.
The LA Express. That's right.
Yes.
So, there's a lot of little things I'm sure he has answers to, or at least is knowledgeable about it. Because I'll tell you what, it was one of the better 30 for 30s I watched. It was really, really interesting to see this.
It was a good one. I've only seen it once, and I think I watched it either like the day it was on or very shortly after, so it's been a little bit. But yeah, I remember that being a good one. I can't wait to read the book. So we'll take a break right now. We'll come back and talk to another author, Letitia Brown. She's the mother of Zach Brown and Tabitha Brown, Shocker athletes. She's written a book, No Trace, My Story, My Secrets, My Pain, My Victory. She's got a good story to tell. We'll talk to Letitia. When we return, I'm Jeff Lutz, Jason Duda with me today on The Drive on KFH. Stay with us.